welcome to Creative Block. We're your hosts, V.
And your guest host, Ian. We talk shop with other creatives in animation and comics about things like finding your artistic path or process of making art while we doodle in Magma.
We asked people on our social medias if they had specific topics they wanted us to discuss, as well as some drawing prompts. If you haven't yet, check out our Patreon and subscribe to our channel.
Today with us, we have special guest, amazing animator, Shane Daring. Welcome, buddy.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for coming on the show, Shane.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
I probably should have listed all your credits.
Do it now.
But I don't have a list. A list so long.
No. A list so long you can fit it on a post-it
I'll talk
note,
about.
baby.
Well, okay. Well, let me talk about why, how I discovered you was through Instagram. Initially, you were posting just these amazing, badass animations that blew my mind, and so I started following you from there, and then I saw that you were doing stuff for Adult Swim, and we just started. I think we just started messaging back and forth because we're both fans of each other, and we even got to work together.
We did,
which was an amazing experience on one of the Ambient Swim.
That's right. Well, you've been,
and it's one of the best ones.
I think so too. It has a special place in my heart. Yeah.
How did you guys get contacted? How did that happen? How does it happen for y'all to work on an Ambient Swim?
The Ambient Swim, well, it was really created by one of the OG Adult Swim guys, Michael Cahill, who's creative director, SVP. He kind of did the bumps back in the day and still does all the white text over black bumps. And so this was during the, I think this was 2020. This was during the
pandemic.
The COVID merger frenzy. And so we were in the process of being bought by AT&T. This is Turner was Time Warner, whatever, Adult Swim and all the other companies. And we knew that everything was going to get funneled into HBO Max. And so we were trying to come up with stuff to fill the air and kind of keep the Adult Swim voice and brand alive and streaming, and see what that was going to be like, and figure out how do we get the bumps and the sort of voice of Adult Swim onto a streaming service. And Ambient Swim was kind of that idea to try to take looping animation and music, which is most of what the interstitials are for the network of Adult Swim, and make a longer format thing, kind of lo-fi hip hop girl, but a lot of intricate loops and music, super chill, third space, white noise, put on in the background type of thing, which is what I think a lot of people use Adult Swim for anyway. At 3 a.m. when they can't sleep, they just throw it on.
Right.
That's such a real observation. It's funny because I never I never realized that so many people used TV or a screen in that way. Because Sean and I, whenever we look at cool animation, sometimes Sean will be like, "Oh, this would be great animation to put on a screen during a party," and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, it's that kind of the TV is also a it can be one of those art screens, I guess. So it's really smart to have Ambient Swim being this you said the lo-fi loops. It's such a great analogy. Were you part of this conversation, or was that how they pitched it to you?
No, I was part of this conversation. I was working full time with Adult Swim on their social on air team, doing illustration and animation for the social handles, and sometimes making bumps and interstitials for the network, working on special projects, and occasionally working on pilots and stuff. I kind of would float around and work on anything that was available to me, or anything that I could weasel my way into. And then yeah, I just had a relationship with Michael Cahill because he was spearheading social and doing the bumps, and I would help out on the bumps. Um, and so yeah, we just kind of wanted to make it, and I made a like a proof of concept, like a 5 minute proof of concept where I just like chopped together a bunch of loops that I already made for our social handles over the years
Mm.
for Adult Swim,
Oh,
and
cool.
just kind of repurposed them, and then made some custom stuff, put some music to it, edited it. We did it in like a couple days, and we showed it to like the head of the network. Um, Talked to some other people, figured some stuff out, and then um, just started. It didn't really like if it's still kind of like funny money. It's still not like officially greenlit, but
Mm.
it's funded internally um, with some I don't know, funny money from some budget, and so occasionally so
Mm.
we get to make an episode every few months. Um, so a lot of the times
So,
that's bringing on a director, and it's myself and Michael Cahill and this other guy, Cody DeMatteis, who's like a superstar OG Adult Swim creative. He does On the Air with Dave Hughes, or Off the Air, I'm sorry, with Dave Hughes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Dave is
Cody.
awesome too. Is by the way, for people listening, Dave Hughes is one of the execs in charge of the Smalls
Yeah,
program. Uh, yeah.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
legend. Yeah, so Cody works on us with that as well as a producer. Um, but we're all kind of like creative directors on the project. So when it's somebody who's directing an episode, we just kind of try to help them angle it correctly. We try not to give too many notes, just let them do their thing and because they're making 25 minutes of television. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it's, 4 or 5 minutes of actual animation, all looped, all just a bunch of
Yeah.
loops. But yeah, and then, sometimes I get to direct an episode and animate on it as well, when there's time. And yeah, just kind of trying to make more of them.
So that initial one that we are you you know I worked essentially you were the director on that project,
Yeah.
the creative director, and there were like 10, 12 other animator artists, but I saw that there was one you did one after that was pretty much all you, right? It was like it was like a bunch of like really hot future people like in like a hotel, like a spa, like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
future spa.
That wasn't all.
It's
That
so
wasn't
good.
all. Thank you. That wasn't all me, but it was a smaller team. The one you're talking about is called Brutal Garden, and yeah, it was like
Yeah.
brutalist, a brutalist sauna of some kind in the future,
Mm.
I
where
love it.
people are going to like relax, and so that was myself and Nicholas Gardezabal, who did the backgrounds, and Nikolaos Finizio of
Mm.
Spider-Verse fame, 2D effects monster,
Mm.
doing all the water work for that. And then I did the character designs, did key animation, animated some of the characters, did layouts and stuff. We kind of treated it as like like a more traditional, like super small production of like a television show kind of. But
Mm.
so that was super fun. Yeah, that was another one. Um, Yeah, that one probably fits the ambient swim bill more than Z Star. Uh, Neo Mega Ultra Z Star, the one that Ian and I worked on, is like an anime love letter, and it's kind of more like high octane than you'd think.
Mm-hmm.
I can't whenever I pitch
Yeah.
new like ambient swim stuff, it gets less and less like relaxing, and
Ah. Ah.
more like I just wanna animate some wild shit. Um, and the music gets like more high octane as well, and I'm sure I'll reach
Yeah.
a stopping point with that where they're gonna tell me I got to tone it back. But
This is stressing me out,
yeah,
dude. Come on.
Do
No.
how does it go for the music? How do you guys kind of reach out to musicians? Do you try to select like beats or like loops that are already existing and you just license it out, or do you actually work with a composer to create the music specifically for Ambient Swim?
it's very right. It's very bare bones. most of the people that if somebody's directing an episode or making it themselves, usually it's a person who also does music.
Oh, very cool.
Because
Very,
it
very
just
cool.
fits, like we have a good budget,
Mm,
but it, to make it work, it's like it just gets harder when you have to license music for stuff on that end. So usually it's people who are kind of full stack. For the episodes that I
mm-hmm.
worked on though, I don't really make music, so yeah, it is kind of like wherever we can get it, and have it make sense. We have a lot of like Adult Swim has a lot of relationships with record labels, um,
Mm.
like Hyperdub and Ghostly, and so for the anime episode, we just kind of talked to them, see if we could get. I really wanted to get Com Trues to provide the music,
Oh,
and
I
Oh
love
no,
Come
yeah.
Trues. He's
yeah,
so
he's great,
good.
and he's like been been a big part of the sound of like the Adult Swim on air bumps and
Mhm.
everything for years, and so um, we knew we couldn't get like we didn't have the money to like have him compose something, um,
Mm.
but we just licensed like 30 minutes of music from him for that one.
Heck yeah.
So it's kind of, I guess it's kind of different episode to episode. I think Brutal Garden was like all like library sync music, so it was like
Mm.
free for us, quote unquote free. So it's
Oh,
really
because
just
it
like
comes
how,
from
yeah,
the
it comes,
Warner li
yeah, it comes
the
from like,
Warner Library.
yeah, something we're paying for, they're paying for
Okay.
internally, and
Okay.
That's cool.
That's really cool. So you said so you work at the Adult Swim headquarters? You're in the building with the people
yeah. In Atlanta, William
in
Street,
Atlanta.
downtown.
Whoa, don't dox that Adult Swim. No, I'm joking. It's probably easy to find the address online. How how
1065
big?
William Street,
He docks
North.
their ass.
Pull up.
No. So you went to school in Georgia, right?
I went to school in Tennessee, but not
Oh,
not too far.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Tennessee's kind of where I grew up. I grew up in Chattanooga, which is like
Mm-hmm.
2 hours north of Atlanta. And I
What
went to
was the name of the school? Yeah.
East Tennessee State. It was in Johnson City, Tennessee. Have you ever heard the
Oh
song
yeah.
"Wagon Wheel"? Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. There's a part of that song where they go, Johnson City, Tennessee. Yeah, that that played a lot at the
You're like,
clubs there. If you would go out, they would do like a
nice.
bass nectar remix to that, and people would go crazy.
That's
Oh hell
funny.
yeah.
Oh, that's really sweet. I like that there's like an anthem that can be like drum and bass.
Yeah, but yeah,
Local anthem.
East Tennessee State. It was a cool college. It's, a nice in-state school that was close to where, like my home in Chattanooga, and I kind of didn't. I don't know if you want me to get into this, but
Hmm.
I just kind of went to school because I was supposed to and didn't know what to do with myself. And I had a lot of great structure, like in high school. I took AP art, had wonderful art teachers there who were super encouraging, and I had a very kind of robust art schedule, I guess, in high school. But then when I was getting ready for college, I kind of just like I was like, well, I don't know, like is any of that really real?
Hmm.
And I kind of just didn't know what to do, and I don't know. I think maybe I was stressed about thinking about how to figure it out because I just had no idea the potential pathways I could take to kind of like break into the creative industry. So I kind of decided to go to school for computer science, and
Oh yeah.
that's what I declared, and wound up graduating with it.
So interesting.
Yeah, but
Your oath.
yes,
Your oath
yeah,
to
that's right.
technology.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah,
has that helped out, like computer science in any way
no,
for with your art career?
no,
Really? Not at all? Not at all?
no. I mean, I think I just haven't tried to integrate it into anything I do because I just much
Mm.
prefer just purely the art side of things. And I think it was like, I started getting like freelance work when I was in college. One of my
Oh
first
hell yeah.
one of my first like jobs was like when I was a freshman or before college started with Trip Tank, the Comedy Central like sketch show. from like 2012, and
Yes. Mm-hmm.
oh man, it was cool. My first intro into like Hollywood and television and everything. But I think like as college was happening and as I was like splitting myself between these two lives, I think it took me like a year or two to really realize what that I needed. I couldn't do both, you know, and I needed to like take something, like pick one and take it super seriously. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was living with like cognitive dissonance for 4 years because I was like in this program, going to class, doing the projects, but not giving it 100%, slowly falling behind, and then like not having the time to pursue art fully. Um,
Mm.
so it was
Mm.
kind of a strange world to live in for a little bit, but um, I don't know. I met a lot of amazing people there. It did like solidify in my mind that, you know, okay, I definitely don't want to be doing anything other than drawing and animating. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but
So were you just? I mean, so you're self-taught animation?
yeah, well, for the most part, yeah.
Jesus,
I
you freak!
Dude,
I'm just
you
kidding.
know,
I love it.
I
I
love
read the
that.
same book.
Why are
I
you
read all the
so?
books you guys read. I read, you know, like
You're so damn good.
But yeah, like I love to hear, you know, I'm actually I'm surprised most of the time a lot of animators are self-taught, especially here in the US, like people who end up working like for anime studios and stuff.
Yeah,
What are your okay, if imagine there's little you who just graduated from high
baby
school,
Shane.
baby Shane, what would you tell him to spend time studying? What are the books that you're like, no, that's a waste of time? And what are the tutorials or things that you were like, yes.
the stuff that I watched like early on was you guys know Harry Partridge? The Yeah,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he had those like animation YouTube classes with like, or they weren't classes, they were just like videos with I don't know. They were called Happy Harry's Hoo Ha Two How Tos.
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome.
I think it was like with a company called Hoo Ha or something. I don't know, but he like did some sort of like sponsored Flash like animation crash course where it basically went over like Richard Williams stuff, kind of.
Mm.
And that was one of like, I mean, I was animating just like however I could figure out how to do it for a little bit when I was like in middle school
Mm-hmm.
and high school, but then that was kind of my first one of my first introductions into more of a structure. But that was happening at the same time that I was discovering like all of those tomes of, you know, like the Illusion of Life and
Mm-hmm.
um, Animator Survival
Mm.
Kit and a couple of those other ones with the force drawing. So I mean, those are those are great. I mean, I know some people have like issues with the Survival Kit, um,
Yes. I was
but
wondering if you had any
I
opinions on that one or if you're like, nope, it looks good to
I
me.
don't know. I don't have to, you know, you don't have to co-sign everything that somebody believes in or says to get some good information from a book. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like those books. I still look at them. Um, you know, I don't. I
Yeah.
listen to music, even though he says don't listen to music
That's
while you draw.
the
But
that's the funniest bit. That's the one I think that's the one that he got like the
the
most.
most
There's
flack
been the
for.
most yeah,
what,
that's the most
what was it?
discourse.
What was it? What's his name? One of the nine old men
Oh yeah, milk
who
call.
freaks
Yeah,
out.
Mill
Will
call.
call.
I'm too. You think I'm smart enough to? I can't remember what he said.
Ah,
I'm too stupid to
yeah,
listen and yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, they didn't live in this time of unlimited music and
Yeah, he doesn't understand
uh,
the our brains have morphed. We can be on a device and drive a car and no, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
But
ah,
Yeah.
ah.
I'm driving right now.
hope that's okay with everybody.
Well, maybe it's a Tesla. It's one of wait, someone when I was in Phoenix, Arizona, someone told me there's like some tiny little self-driving cars and they're not Teslas, and I was so surprised. And they were like, you absolutely have to get into one of those. And I was like,
Oh, the
maybe?
Waymos.
Yes, the Waymos. And
Waymo.
I was like, I don't trust any of them. I don't want to be in any
Yeah.
self-driving car.
I don't. I freaked out when I got into a Tesla. My friend got one. He rented one when he was in town.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he was messing around with the self driving, and I was like, this is freaking me out. I need to get the hell out of this
It's
thing.
pretty trippy.
Anyway, it's trippy. Yeah, I like to be in control. But that's a whole other episode to talk about my control issues. But so you're self-taught. So were you? So that's interesting. So as a kid, were you the one in class, like the best drawer, always doodling?
I think.
Like, what was your?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I heard you mention they were in AP art class.
Yeah, I took APR. That was really cool. You know, I was much more interested in like the graphic side of stuff than my classmates at the time. So I was doing a lot of cartoons and a lot of like just trying everything, like graffiti, working a lot with like markers and pens and stuff. And I like I really didn't want to paint. Like I really just wanted to do like chalk and charcoal and ink and stuff. And so that's kind of where my stuff led. But I don't know. Maybe in like elementary school I was like the kid that you would go to get a sweet Goku drawing or something. But in fact, actually, you know, weird, like one of the moments, I think, earliest moments for me realizing like, oh, I think I kind of want to do this for my life was like, there's this kid in my like first, second, third grade class. We had this like library class. I don't know if you guys had library, a class called library. You just go to the library.
Yeah, we had. It was a study hall.
Okay,
I think is what they called it.
Ours was called
That's
library, where
funny.
you go and sit down, and they were trying to like seduce
Make you
you
look at
and
books.
turn you into and like teach you about the Dewey Decimal System, but really just looked at zoo books, and you looked at like you know, whatever non-book books they had to consume. But we would like draw. We would just draw. Everybody that I knew in like elementary school would just draw during that time. And there's this kid Brian who was like so good, or you know, like my memory of his drawings were so good, and he would draw like Dragon Ball Z and everything. And we would draw together, and that was like the first time where I saw somebody's like drawings that were like seriously much better than mine. And you know how we're like 7 or 8, so how good could they have been? But I realized I was like taking it seriously because I wanted to like learn from him and get better. And then I had another moment, like I think in like 6th grade, I like met him again, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I can't wait to show you all of my drawings. I've been drawing all this time." And and he was like, "Oh, I don't draw anymore." I was like, "What?"
Oh,
I was like,
No
"What
way,
do you
that's
mean?"
crazy.
And he's like, "Yeah, I haven't drawn for like for a while." I was like, and that was another moment where I was like, "Oh, I didn't realize you could do that." I thought it's like you're supposed to draw because you're good at it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know there's something about like artists, like it's just the longevity, like how long do you stick it out? You know, like a lot of people are like, we all kind of start out in a similar place, and then like even the really good people, it's just like they just like, I don't want to do it anymore. I fell out of love with it, or I found something else I became passionate about. But
yeah,
a lot of like people you think are really good are just like have just stuck with it.
Yeah,
all this time.
They do it when it's not convenient anymore. I think that's why people stop doing it, right? Like, especially when they're young, right? Because then it's like life gets more complicated. You get more busy. You have chores and you have a job and all this stuff and other stresses, and then it's harder to sit down and like be happy and feel inspired. And then you think like, oh, if only I could do it. I just don't feel in the mood. But
That's a
then,
great.
you know, it's like, oh man, well that's you have like I think anybody who comes like a professional at this stuff realizes like, oh, it's not you have to do it all the time. You have to find ways to like it, and you have to like sit down and start working. It just doesn't, you know, like you can't just work when you feel happy about it.
That's such a great, yeah, no, like I love that you bring that up because Stephen King in his book on writing talks about that. He's like, that's what makes a professional. You just do it even when you don't want to. But also I think like for us as working professionals who draw all the time for work, and then we like want to do also personal stuff, right? Like do you have any uh how much do you draw outside of work?
I think that really depends. Like if I always know when I need to like draw more for myself because my life like starts getting worse, or I just start to feel
Yeah,
I
yeah.
start to feel unhappy. I'm like, why was this a bad day for me?
Hmm.
Maybe I should like,
I do. And
yeah,
I'm laughing because I relate to it so hard.
yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I should like journal, even though I really don't want to. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's always like a time every couple weeks if I haven't been drawing for myself, which has been a lot lately, where I just get like, I don't know, the urge to do it. And then I'll spend some evenings really cranking on something. Um, and if I'm working on something that's really labor intensive and really like meticulous, or it's just like tough drawing styles, especially with the animation stuff, then I don't have as much of an urge because I'm just tired. But
Hmm.
if it's more of a directing thing or more of a pure like design illustration stuff that I'm working on that day or that week or whatever it is, then yeah, I tend to like moonlight some of my evenings doing personal work. Um,
Hmm.
Most of my stuff on Instagram these days is like personal stuff, um, which is fun, but
Nice.
it's that, I try to find time for it whenever I can. I'm kind of like um, a binge personal project enjoyer, just like I am with alcohol. No, I'm kidding. No, but I tend to like do it in giant spurts where it's like I won't do anything personal for like a couple months, and then I'll go crazy and burn myself out, um, working on like
Hmm.
on the side on personal stuff. So I don't know. I take it wherever I can. Lately, I
Hmm.
haven't had much
Yeah.
time to do anything outside of the professional stuff I'm working on, but um, I know it's coming for me.
It's like Shane's been banging on your
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hmm.
Like the
We're ready.
yeah, like the Always
Uh,
Sunny Carol
yeah.
or Cheryl.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, it's always hard to find that balance. I mean, V and I
Hmm.
literally have talked
That's,
thousands of hours about
I feel like it's what we talk about
the
all the
challenge
time.
is like, how do we quit
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
jobs and just work on our own stuff?
Yeah.
Because time's running out,
Yeah,
baby. No,
I know. Wait, is that okay to ask how old you are, Shane?
yeah. I'm 31.
31. Wow, you're in kind of like the same. Well, I was gonna say you're in the same bracket as us, but I guess
hey, what are you trying to call me out for? Yeah, I know I'm old.
you're old. No, but I feel like it's kind of like the moment in your career where you kind of start thinking about these things. You're like, okay, I love doing this thing. I've been doing this thing for like around like 10 years or something,
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, how do I but I wanted to ask you, Shane, about how you got that first gig with uh
Trip tank?
yes, that one.
Oh yeah, I was posting stuff on Newgrounds,
Oh,
all throughout.
nice.
Like, I think I was pretty young when I started. I think I was I like 12 maybe, just making
Hmm.
absolute bullshit for a few years. I
It's the best kind.
Yeah, I had like swindled my parents into helping me purchase a copy of Flash CS7 back when you could buy it um,
Yes.
a la carte, and I think it was like
Got it.
$800 or something ridiculous. But one time,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and then I just started making cartoons on there because I'd seen a bunch of stuff on like DeviantArt
Hmm.
before I knew about Newgrounds. Like I just kept hearing like the word Flash, and I looked into it and figured out how to make it and started making cartoons, putting them up on Newgrounds. Made a couple, I don't know if you can call them successful, but they got some views, and a couple of them got put on like the front page, which was
Oh,
like
hell yeah.
like always the goal, right? And
Hmm.
Tom Fulp sent me I made a cartoon called Pinata Party, which was
Hmm.
about these two anthropomorphic pinatas at a children's party, and then the kids start bashing them open with sticks, and guts and organs come out. This was
Oh my God.
this is like the
That's
2010s.
amazing.
Okay, so this was. I'm not gonna say it was funny, but it was like, you know,
I love
like
it.
Happy Tree Friends. Me just trying to rip
Yeah,
off
yeah,
Happy Tree
yeah.
Friends,
Yeah, yeah.
and that they got on the front page, and Tom Fulp like sent me a Yeti condenser mic because the audio quality was so horrible for like because I recorded all the voices. I recorded all the voices and everything, and I did everything, and yeah, he sent me a mic, and I started using that, and that was like, I was like, oh my god, Tom Fulp, I need
That's
to
amazing.
keep stay the course and keep making stuff, and then it was the damn pinata party thing that I think some like people at it was Shadow Machine that was producing the man, you guys draw so fast. I'm just, oh my god. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna
No,
go into
don't worry about
turbo mode. Hang on.
it. You're interviewing. You have to think.
Yeah,
We can just listen and do
Let me
what we
finish
say.
this. Let me
exactly.
finish this stupid fucking night and move on to the next one. But yeah, they'd seen like somebody at Shadow Machine had seen Pinata Party, and it was around the time when they were like staffing up for Trip Tank, which was going to be like, they told me, they pitched it to me like it's SNL but animated.
Oh,
But really
amazing.
what it was liquid television but worse. But it was really cool. I think it was just a little behind the time. Like they were trying to be Newgrounds,
Oh,
and
interesting.
and it was like, well, this is already like it's already so much better on.
This is
Yeah, it's
already a
already a thing.
thing.
You don't have to like censor things here. But they were super chill. Gave me a great opportunity. I kind of worked like it was a purely like an acquisitional thing.
Mm-hmm.
They hit me up and they were like, "Do you want to do a thing for Trip Tank?" I was like, "Yes." And like, "Okay, cool. The thing is, we just want the pinata party thing, but
Mm.
you gotta remake it because it's bad." Yeah.
Oh.
Whoa.
I mean, they didn't say that, but like, "Are you interested in revisiting this?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll do whatever you want." And
How old were
so
you when you made Pinata Party? I just wondered.
16.
16,
Um,
and you were remaking it at what age? You were
17,
like, oh, a year later?
17, a year now. I was
That's
like, maybe I was
Dude.
almost 18. I remember I was 17, but it was like my birthday's in April. It's close to April that
that's
they hit me up. So I was probably 18. Maybe I was 18, but
are you a Taurus? I'm sorry.
I'm a Taurus, but I only know that because other people have told me
That's so funny. Okay, we don't have to keep talking about horoscope.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, don't get me started. Anyhow, it's just so hilarious to me that they asked you to remake your cartoon only a year later. I feel like if I had made a cartoon at that age, which I did make cartoons, and somebody asked me like, "Hey, we want to buy this, can you make it again?" It would be a really hard discussion to have with myself. I would be just like, "It's right there. What do you want?"
Yeah, just yeah. But obviously, even though you said like the mic quality was a little
that.
janky, it was enough. I haven't seen Pinata Party. Now I really want to watch
Yeah,
it.
me too. I want to see
Oh
it.
boy.
But I feel like I've heard of it. Now that you mention it, like when you described it, I was like, "That sounds familiar." And to think that you made that is like, it's insane.
It was fun, and it was an experience, and it was cool. They were nice. I was unaware of
That's
like the risk I was taking on because it was like it was not much money, but a lot of money to me because
Mhm.
I was still
right.
thinking of things.
17
Yeah, I was
years
thinking of
old.
things in terms of how many Xbox games is this, um,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
and um, so, but yeah, it was like very horrible pay for what it was because it was like 3 minutes of runtime.
That you completely
Yeah,
reanimated?
yeah, yeah, and I did like the
Oh.
sound and everything, and
Whoa. Yeah,
um,
it's a lot.
but it was cool. I mean, and I made it in like a summer, and they also like reserved the right to not pick it up, so that was kind of
Oh, no
scary
way.
because like, well,
Mhm.
what am I gonna do? Like, I'm gonna be doing this anyway, in my room all summer, so
Yeah.
I might as well try to like do something cool with it. And so they said like when I turned it in, I didn't talk to. I also didn't know how to like check in with people because I was just totally like professionally illiterate. Um, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of like didn't talk to them for like 2.5 months, 3 months or whatever, and then sent them like the final thing. And there were, I had to go back and change it. There were issues with it, and it was all because I had no idea what I was doing and export problems. And I think like I was working in Flash and I didn't know like broadcast specs or anything. I don't even
Mm-hmm.
know. I don't
Right,
even know if I was animating in
right.
24 frames per second because I think for a while I knew 24 is what I should be doing, but for a while, like some of the Newgrounds people, like Johnny Utah, who like
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
talking about how they would animate in 30 or 40 or something, and then I was like, I'm gonna do
Oh
that. I don't even know if that was.
no.
I was like doing like so I can't even remember what the frame rate was, and I know I animated it like I animated it I think in standard def or something. And luckily, I realized this like when it was almost done. Luckily, at the time, Newgrounds had the Newgrounds team, whatever, Tom Fulp and the developers released this thing called
Mm.
Swivel, which was SWF to like lossless like
Oh, nice.
MOV
Okay.
Nice.
converter, and you could
Okay.
upscale because it was all vector, so you could upscale
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the movie file like or the
Mm-hmm.
SWF, the Flash movie file, and it was literally like it was literally like my prayers had been answered. Like, oh, this just so happens to be a tool that just got released that does exactly that the solve that you needed to. Um,
Let's save my
I was also
ass.
like doing all the sound in like one at a time, recording lines in GarageBand, like the default
Mm-hmm.
Mac, recording thing, and then
Oh
plugging
yeah,
them
yeah, yeah.
in like one at a time into like I was editing the sound in Flash. Um,
Oh yeah,
and so I
yeah,
had
yeah,
like
yeah.
no master file. I had no splits. So I had to record. I had to re-record the audio when they said, "Okay, great, now give us splits." And I was like, "What are you talking about?
What's a
What's a
split?
split?" Uh, and so they were, you know, super nice to me, and that was the last I ever worked with. I think they,
I love that though.
yeah,
I love how down and dirty and DIY it was. I don't know. It adds a purity to it. It's like would have been the same if you'd had all the fancy tools. You use what you had.
yeah. I used that
So cool about
Yeti
that.
condenser mic, baby. The
Yeah. So that's interesting. So you were getting work before even going to college, and you had this. You're doing animation. It's very interesting to me that you didn't like immediately like all right. I'm going to school for animation. Like I'm shooting for like I guess the class would be like Cal Arts. Because how many people can say that they? I mean, when I think about when I was 17, oh man, yeah, I was just playing video games. I knew nothing.
I was doing a lot. I was
To think
mostly
that I
doing
could,
that. Mostly doing that
yeah.
as well.
But yeah, I mean that's just like so impressive. I mean, it totally makes sense. Like,
The cool thing is that like you got something on Newgrounds that got attention from people because I remember posting on Newgrounds when I was like 16 and all that, but my stuff never really took off. So it's really and then you got paid, and then you still thought to yourself, this is not the way.
Well, yeah, it.
well, I mean, eventually you got there,
I
but
was unsure. I wasn't sure, and I had already, like I'd already chosen a school, declared a major at the time that I was working on it because like
Mm,
I got approached, and then
oh
it wasn't
yeah,
it wasn't like I didn't start working on it right away. I started working on it like I guess it was like midsummer when I started working on it. So it was like 4 months later after they reached out to me that we got the
mm,
contract, and I had to talk to them a few times because
I
things went back and
see.
forth. And for a while, it was going to be more than the pinata party thing, and then it turned out to be there's a couple back and forths, and so I had already like started making the movements in my life to like go to
yeah,
college for
yeah.
something else
Mm-hmm.
when that was kind of like happening, and it was kind of very surreal. uh and I think I don't know, for some reason compartmentalized it and didn't really think like it was very exciting, but I guess maybe there's just too many like new things happening to me all at once that
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
freaked
go, yeah.
out.
You're like,
Well, it's also a hard thing to pursue art. I feel like I don't know if you got discouraged by anybody around you, like if anyone around you was like, art is not a real job or whatever, but I feel like that's a pretty common experience to
Yeah,
like
for sure. I mean, it's always going to be people, I think those are people who are like very unhappy with the decisions they've made in life, and they like, whether they realize it or not, under the surface, like they see somebody trying to chase their dreams and
Mm-hmm.
pursue this thing, and it's understandably kind of like rock, like, makes them very upset, because they internally are probably questioning themselves, like, did I make the right decisions? Should I have done,
Yes.
and so then
Right.
they get mad
Mm-hmm.
at, and then they're like then they're like a hater, like, well, you're not gonna, make any money on this or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I certainly had my fair share of, those experiences.
Mm.
I would say, I want to say my parents were very supportive, super sweet people. And I know this sounds like it's going in a weird place, but it's not. They're very, very supportive of like all the art I was doing growing up, and whenever I did kind of tell them, because I did have aspirations from a very young age to do it professionally. And I just think, like, for some reason, when I was like 16, 17, I was like, I'm gonna get a job. I think it was like, because I was like,
Yeah.
that was like just a phase maybe. That
I love
unfortunately,
that you're
I don't know.
just a phase is not being emo with like the swoop or whatever, but it was just like getting a
Yeah, I
job.
don't know. I was like dating a girl, and it like wasn't going anywhere, but I thought it was going somewhere, and I was just like, I'm gonna get a job and be successful and get married or something.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just, it was like a little vacation from like my dreams, I think. And then I came to and started freaking out, trying to chase them again. But my parents were always super supportive, and like, but they a couple times, couldn't help themselves, I think. And when they saw what I was posting on the internet, some of the cartoons I was making, they were like, you have to
Mm.
stop doing this. They're like, you're never going to get a job if you put stuff out there like this. They're like, there's so much cursing, there's so much violence, it's so awful. uh
I love
and they're like, and your name's like attached to it. And I was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. But and but then, and then they like grounded me. They're like, if you post that, we're grounding you. And I was like, okay. But they didn't take my computer away. They just like wouldn't let me see
So
friends.
funny.
So I just kept
So
making cartoons.
yeah, you had
But
even more time. They were just giving you like the hyperbolic time chamber by grounding you.
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I bring that up all the time, lovingly, of like,
That's so funny.
I did get a job.
Remember this, mom, dad?
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
there's always it's always people like to squash, people chasing their dreams and working on something. And
Yeah.
it's I don't know. The older you get, the more you kind of like feel bad for those people, because I just don't think they have. I'm just grateful that I have had like the right direction in my life, and have had like the right. Always felt like I had a sense of purpose, or some sort of goal to work to, and I struggle to um, relate to people who don't have that.
Who don't?
So
You know, it's interesting
Yeah,
that you
no.
bring that up because I do know that's something that like my sister used to tell me a lot. She was like, "Oh, like I'm jealous of you because you have like a passion or something that you're pursuing." And it's true. It's like it's funny when you think about it that it's like not everybody has that. And I think as artists it's kind of like our curse and but also like our blessing, you know. It's like, "Oh, yes, there's something that we're really like trying to chase." It's like a direction.
Should we
Oh,
look at the questions?
yeah, let's go into some questions. So on Blue Sky we have at Cinoclex asking, you do a lot of interesting camera moves and perspective work in some of your shorter animations. Any tips for planning those out?
yes, kind of what Ian's talking about. I mean, I think 3D aid is very helpful. And I've started to use that to block stuff out. But I am, whatever crackpot, pipeline I've created for myself to kind of like break these things down in my head is like doing it rough first in 2D, super loose, with like very, very minimal information, like a grid system of sorts, tracking
Mm.
like just lines, right, in 3D space, really rough, figuring out how the body's going to be, um, and then working backwards in 3D to then build reference to then plug back into 2D and make
Mm.
look good. And sometimes that means rotoing a bit, or sometimes that means like it's purely just a reference and not and something I use loosely, but more information for me. But it's
Mm-hmm.
becoming like a back and forth thing for me with 3D and like taking, you know, like sometimes like for crazy angles and stuff, taking a little like action figure and just like taking a photo of it. You can take, I mean, like take photos of your
Yep.
body, take photos of your body too, right? But like,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, it's very helpful to just take like just get like, you know, little model kit or something, or like a SH figure art, like nice looking proportional character that you like, figure, and take a photo of it with like crazy distortion and weird angles. Really as a drawing exercise too, but like in terms of animation, like you can get your key pose from that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
or just help you figure out like how exactly is that supposed to work? Because sometimes the angles can get crazy, and that also like inspires you about how you can like kind of like plan out the shot too. But I think just let it be iterative, and there's a lot of resources out there to look, like a lot of great animation to look at and study and learn from, and then, you know, yeah, just work really simple. That's what I'm discovering now too with this stuff. Like, work super loose and super simple, and don't worry about the drawing. Worry about like the feeling and the camera stuff. And there's a lot of, you know, like recognize when you can cheat things and when you can't. But that just takes time to. You just have to work more to realize that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know, the camera stuff. That's still stuff I'm trying to figure out to make look really good. Um, it's fun though. It's fun. It's a fun challenge. That stuff relies really heavily on like drawing mechanics. So if you can turn like a body in 3D space, you can do that stuff. So it's kind of more of like an exercise in drawing than it is animation
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the time.
Yeah. I've seen some. I think it was I don't know how you pronounce it. Legend of
Yeah,
Way
yeah. Oh, it's
2, where
so
they were.
good.
It's so good, and they were using like pretty much like very basic like T pose
Yeah,
characters. They would then draw all over it, but I wouldn't, you know, it was like a reference for a character in space, but you wouldn't call it rotoscoping because it wasn't like a one
yeah.
to
Just
one.
like blocking, right?
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was like, yeah, see, that's like I love that kind of in between,
Honestly,
like using 3D in that way.
I did that for the boards that I'm doing right now, where I'm like, because it's like in 3D space and they want like things to feel a little bit accurate. I just grab the T pose proxy and I move it around, and then I'm like, oh, nice. Like that way, I get the volume to feel right in the space really fast. It's
Yeah,
so much faster. I mean, there's a moment when it's like, you know, like you don't have to be a purist anymore, and you could just like use tools to help you.
Yeah, 100%.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's
no,
always going to be a balance of like there. You'll know when like it's like your skill set needs to like your drawing ability and your animation ability need to catch, or your drawing ability needs to catch up with your animation ability, right? And then
Hmm.
because you can be held back by like your fundamentals, or held back by like your drawing
Hmm.
ability, you know, but you can practice animation without having to practice drawing, and vice versa. And there are so many tools, and yeah, don't be afraid to like use resources out there. Like 3D is so valuable to drawing. Um,
yeah,
yeah,
Hmm.
like the blogging. That's cool you said that, Ian, because like the people's work that I'm fascinated with, that you know I'm trying to make more stuff like, is like um, do you know? I don't know if it's his handle name has changed, but Guzu. Um, he works
so
for Blur. He does
yeah.
like previs for Blur, kind of.
Did he do the
Yes,
level
yes, yes, he
secret
did.
level?
The
And he
pre-visualization
uses
stuff.
Blender.
Yeah, well, he's a 2D animator, but he's like a grease pencil god, and he uses just a million different techniques to rough out and block out shots in a, a bunch of different ways, and it's just really clever. And that's kind of studying his work is kind of how I figured out how to, like, my own process of how to like start chipping away at more complex things. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, it shows you a way. I mean, the biggest obstacle for any like a big 3D move or anything is like once you break it down into like very simple steps, it becomes so much more, feels so much more accessible in my
100%.
opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw like a guy, I think he's a Spanish or maybe French animator. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he did this short called Playground,
Oh
Oh
yeah,
which
yeah,
is sort of like this nightmare.
yeah,
Rodrigo de Souza.
yes,
Yes, Rodrigo, and
Yep.
he used he just took a camera. He took his
I've seen
camera.
this.
He built
Yep.
a set out of
Yeah,
cardboard.
the tissue boxes and stuff. Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, brilliant, fucking brilliant. So simple,
Yeah.
but it feels so complex.
Yes.
The end result is so complex. So it's like, and it's like he drew over it. He made it his. He gave it that organic feeling. It doesn't feel like stiff. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the problem when you go too close to reference, you start to lose the life
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
of the drawing, and yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah,
another way.
absolutely. And that's what's so brilliant about it. Like, obviously, that it's such an elegant. I don't want to say simple because it's to come up with that is brilliant, but it's like kind of it's simple in a way, but how he then takes that the finished product, you can't tell the finished product, and obviously like the finished product he's such an incredible illustrator and draftsman and animator. That's just it's such a brilliant. It's so cool to see that, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's really good, and it's a cool thing.
I don't like that guy. He's too good.
He's
It
too-
annoys
He's kind of
me.
he's kind of a freak.
Alrighty. We have from Milkman is here on Blue Sky. What's your preference for getting rid of hand cramps?
Oh, man.
Oh, shit.
I love how
Shit.
specific that one is. Do you get cramps?
I don't know. There's times where I get up and like my hand is stiff, and then I know it's been 3 hours without stopping, and that's like that's
Mhm.
for me these days as a no. So take breaks. I don't know. Take breaks. Be active. Like I don't know if this is true, but you need to maybe use your hand in the opposite way you do it for drawing. Just like you can't just work your pulling muscles. You have to work your pushing muscles, or else it'll be all asymmetrical.
Yeah.
So use your hands in
Mm.
different ways and engage them. Get the blood flowing. Maybe. I thought that's I don't have too many hand issues, but it's the thing I'm so scared of. Like whenever it's a little different, but like whenever there's something stuck in the garbage disposal, I use my freebie hand. Yeah, the hand I don't really care about. Or I'm so terrified of like, or it's not all the time, but like every once in a while you would think like, oh shit, what if that door close, like you have like a close call.
Yeah, dude.
So
Finger.
I have a joke with my friends. My non-art hand is like the hand that I light the fireworks with, or do the whatever, play with knives with the other hand.
Yeah, when you're doing the what is it, the fillet of the hand.
Oh yeah, my
point,
weekly
whatever.
5-point whatever.
Yeah.
Always the
I care.
But it pays better if you use the hand you care about more. People like that in the
Exactly.
underground.
I like the danger.
But
That's funny. Oh, last question from our patron Puzzle Glum. What are some ways that art making and programming overlap in the ways of thinking, process, skill required, etc.? I feel like I asked you this a million times already.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer it again.
I'm really sorry. I'm not the I maybe should be the person to have a good answer for this, but I really shamelessly have nothing. I'm blown away by people that do both, like especially at a competitive level. Those are the people you got to really be worried about. No, I'm just kidding. But like, those are the people that like, they're just crazy. I don't know. It's not my world, but it's a cool world. If it's something that interests you, do it.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah. I always I wish I had gone back. If I could go back in time and talk to young Ian, I would have said, "Get better at math."
Really?
Because you could program video games one day.
But you can always partner up with like a coder. Like you don't have to make everything yourself, Shane, what's your take on creative block? Like, do you ever run out of inspiration? When you do, what you do?
I'm talking about the podcast.
The podcast, yeah. How do you feel about us? You love us.
off the record. No,
I got some issues.
I have notes. No, I'm kidding.
I have notes.
I think creative block for me is more burnout, and just kind of like knowing the signs of that earlier and earlier every time it happens. The older you get, creative block. I think you just need to maybe take a break from what you're doing if you're trying to force something and do something else. Having multiple projects that you're working on is great. That's something I'm always doing. Even inside a project, right? If you're working like a few different shots for whatever it is, you can jump from shot to shot to help if you reach a roadblock. And the same thing with projects. If you're working on a personal project on top of like a professional gig, spending some time on that in the evenings can help reset things. But then sometimes it's clear you need an actual reset outside of work, outside of what you're doing. And for me, it helps to have multiple creative hobbies. So I really like to play the piano. And that is super helpful for me because it kind of still engages my brain in a nice way that feels like I'm being, creative and productive, but it's there's no expectations, and it's just fun. And so if you're, it's easy to like get burned out and get creative block if like all you're doing is the work you're doing, and especially when you're doing it for both to make money and for your own amusement. So take a break from one of those things if you can. And take care of your body, sleep and eat, and find a this is, I know everybody says this, but find like a physical outlet that's good for you, whatever that is. For me it's like I like to rock climb, I like to run, and do that for a bit. But yeah, just be careful about burnout. Take care of yourself, take care of your brain.
Great advice.
Yeah, no, the physical aspect is extremely important because our bodies aren't meant to sit.
Yeah.
For the long hours, so make sure you move it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's something that like I don't know, art students don't get told it enough. I mean, when I was in Gobelin, that was so funny. They had a little gym that they were like, you have to use the little gym, but there was like only like 2 treadmills, I guess, and like I forget what else there was in there. But it was so sad. It was so small. I mean, I would go in there because they made us go, but I don't know.
That's good though. I'm like impressed.
Well, yeah, I think I did eventually start getting like a gym membership, but like I would, even if it's just running on the treadmill, I think it's still good. Move your body. It's good for ideas too. I get most of my ideas when I'm like walking around or on the treadmill, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go on some more hikes.
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
how you get the ideas.
Man, V, I got you.
Hiking is the best.
You went to Gobelin?
I
That's
did,
so cool.
but it was that was back in the day. I don't know. I feel like I'm a fraud. I'm like a Gobelin fraudster because I mean, I did get good foundation for drawing.
I got to pick your brain about that later. I'm just interested in it. I think
why are they so good?
What's going on?
Why is everyone so good?
What kind of
what
kind of exercises were you guys doing there that they had you doing in the gym? What were you guys eating?
The exercises. Yeah, it was all the treadmill. Y'all.
What the hell?
That's so funny. Yeah, the first day is cool. You get a very special vaccine.
The super soldier.
Yeah. Like an overlord. Like, remember? I don't know if you guys have seen that. That would be crazy.
Neck snaps and you start drawing.
Yeah, it's like the T virus from Resident Evil, but it's drawing.
Damn, that's gonna be my short. I'm gonna go to Gobelin, and just so I can make that short. Oh, this is
But yeah, I think well, thank you.
This is good up.
Yeah, do you have anything that you want to plug, Shane, before we wrap it up?
I don't know, not really. A couple things that are coming out soon. More Ambient Swim. There's new episodes on YouTube. We're dropping them on YouTube now. As well as, well, I don't know if they'll be on streaming. There's so many mergers happening right now, or
Dude, it's
demergers,
crazy.
decouplings.
Yes.
But for the time being, new ones are coming out on YouTube. I think that's great because it's just more accessible. A lot of people can't always watch HBO or HBO Max in their country, so new Ambient Swim has been coming out. The episode that I've been working on is coming out soon. I don't know when, but it's coming out soon. A couple projects I've been working on for the past few months are coming out soon. I can't plug anything specifically. This is the worst plug of all time. I don't know. I don't have anything to plug. But
plug your Instagram.
Yeah, whatever. Follow me on Instagram. Follow Creative Block. Follow Ian.
This guy. Well,
Ian was one of my first art Instagram crushes, big time, back in like 2016, 2017.
Crazy, man. You're too good. You surpassed me. I'm still like what am I? Why am I here?
I'm still reeling from like one of those like board animations you did with the caveman character and the monkey characters and stuff, and it was like pink. It was pink, and it had a really cool track on it. I can't remember what it was, but I still think about that I think about it every day.
Every day.
Every day I can't stop. I know. I'm never gonna finish that thing. Bad. It's just there are projects that will, I'll just have to some other way. That's it. Manifest. But, I don't know.
Well,
cool, guys.
Yeah, that's the end of this creative blog. Shane, thanks for being our guest and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
And thanks to our listeners. Follow us on social media at CRTV Block, where we ask for drawing prompts and questions to our guests. Huge thanks to our editor Clements for editing the podcast, Marco for helping us produce the show, and Ibuka for creating the short clips we've been putting out.
If you love our show, you can support us on Patreon. Becoming a patron gets you early access to interviews and access to our Discord community. We also have a second part of the interview that is only on Patreon. You can click the link in the description of this episode to find our Patreon and to follow Shane on all his socials. Another great way you can support the podcast is to like, subscribe, comment, all these things. It does help get more eyes on what we're doing. All right, I've been your host, V.
I've been your guest host, Ian. Keep being creative, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!